Ken, there's massive sand up ahead, a big patch of sand, soft sand. Please advise the guys behind.
There was a bit of a split in the group with the CSR event where people are planting trees and doing different things, and where we should have all just stayed together, the group split up. As luck would have it, or bad luck would have it, that's when the accident happened.
We had quite a bit of gravel to ride, and it was already in the afternoon. So anyway, so the guy after lunch, the guy Francois, Sheldon, and Michael went ahead, and they said, and I said, okay, we'll see you guys Fish River Canyon. I was texting with the other guys that were at the Fish River Canyon, Heinrich specifically, and I said, we're on our way there now. We'll be there in about 28 minutes according to the GPS. So Philip is going, and after a while I said, Philip,
we should have been there.
We should have been by the Fish River Canyon. Yeah. And he said, no, we're going to the Roadhouse. I said, why are we going to the Roadhouse? We're supposed to go to the Fish River Canyon. So that was a misunderstanding on our part. Anyway, we ended up back at the Roadhouse. And he said, I thought you wanted to get your bike. And I said, no. I told the guys I'm going without my bike to the Fish River Canyon. Anyway, by the time we got to the Roadhouse, it's quite late. I think it must have been close to 4, right?
Yeah, it was going to definitely be dark.
It was going to be dark, right? So I decided to go by myself. And then Ken said, no, you're not going by yourself. We'll go with you because they got the other support vehicle. So I did a solo ride that 70 kilometers, and I was the first one to go through. So now I'm riding that road, and we start to hit sand, little patches of sand. And so I started going through the little patches of sand. It wasn't too bad. And then I hit a massive patch of sand.
Yes, it looks scary.
Riding on this road, we were remarking in the vehicle how once you hit these dips, the sand is very thick in those dips. And I was joking in the car saying to the guys, to Jules, I said, I would definitely have come off in that because all of a sudden you're in thick sand.
But I hit it at about 80 kilometers an hour. And I must admit, I didn't see it coming, right? So I hit the sand and the bike did some violent stuff. It was all over the place. It was, straight after that, I pulled over to the side. I stopped these guys and I said, guys, this is terrible. Like, call the guys and let them know this road is deadly. This is bad.
Yeah, it was starting to get late, so we were a little bit in a hurry. And because of the lack of cell service, it was difficult to communicate everything. So we were driving as usual as we've done the whole day, because the whole day was basically a off-road day. And then, yeah, all of a sudden I was still driving normally, and then all of a sudden my front wheel hit the deep sand and shook my handlebars. And from there, the back of the bike, the back tire just slid out like this uncontrollably. And then I decided, well, rather than staying on the bike and letting the bike roll on top of me, I did a Spider-Man jump off the bike, away from the bike, and luckily didn't get crushed by the bike whilst it tumbled around.
And as we arrived, I saw 3 bikes parked up on the left. And guys were standing around, and we were saying, you know, I hope they're taking pictures, because sometimes they would do that. They would stop and record or take pictures. But then we saw that Axel was holding his arm and things weren't 100% kosher.
At that point, I didn't know that it was Axel and Michael, right? But yeah, they were flagging us down. We slowed down, to the point where I could actually now see, oh, okay, cool, these are 2 bikers. And I'm like, oh shit, something happened. Kind of 10 meters before we stopped, I already saw Axel, the bike's there, he's bleeding, and it was quite bad. Got off the bike, Axel standing there smiling. And he's got his hand strapped to his number plate. And
he had the foresight to immobilize his wrist on his number plate. Of all things.
When I felt my hand being sore well, it's definitely sore. I can't move it properly, so maybe there's something wrong. So then I saw my license plate laying on the ground, and I was like, well, this is the perfect thing to support it. And then so I used that to support my wrist whilst we wait for the support vehicle to come pick me up.
Luckily, the Cherry wasn't too far behind us. They were probably about 20 minutes maximum behind us.
I was teasing him a bit because he was trying to see what his nose was looking like, because he must have hit his face on the inside of his helmet. And I told him in the car, don't worry, you're still handsome, you've not broken anything, your nose is still in place, you're fine, don't worry about it.
Initially, we thought, okay, cool, let's just wait for the bakkie to come and pick up the bike. Ended up just leaving the bike there, got on the bikes. We still had about 50 or so odd kilometers to go, and it started to become pitch dark. I think we did 40 kilometers in like complete darkness.
Just put those back off.
Yeah. Beautiful night for a rescue job, hey? Okay, the bikes are all loaded and tied down, all safe. And as you can see, this one is quite badly damaged. Okay, cool.
Sure, in the morning, this does not look like a... Wow. But the ducky stayed.
And when we got back to the hotel, we called the doctor. Doctor just said, look, if there aren't any bones sticking out of his arm or his skin, it's best he just goes for x-rays the next day.
Then we got organized. We just told everybody, listen, everybody's sharing. I'm sorry, the guys aren't going to go camping because Axel needs to have a proper place to sleep.
All that being said, I still enjoyed the trip, although my trip got cut off short. That particular patch that got me is something that I couldn't see or didn't expect to hit that deep of a sand. But then obviously this sand pit got the better of me, because I mean it was very thick, unfortunately, and yeah. But I'm still standing and ready for another another adventure.
Only once you ride those roads do you respect the skill and commitment that you need when riding your bike on that type of road.
So, the end of day 3.
Day 3, the epic day.
Today we did quite a bit. We planted trees.
Not me, I didn't plant trees.
No, you didn't.
I planted myself in the ground.
Yeah, you planted yourself in the ground. You did, yes. But you were the first one to bite the sand. Then Marius, and he twisted his ankle.
I was.
And then
I
last little Axel, he had a bit of a...
Yeah, he had a bump. A little bit of a bump. But he's alright.
Yeah, he's all right. He's going to make it.
They show them Jesus of Nazareth stars over there.
Yeah, the bikes did bloody well. Sure. The support vehicle was awesome. You went to get back the bike, carry the other bike. Good job. Good job.
Thank you.
Right at the end, when we sort of knew that Axel's going to be fine, we will take care of things in the morning. That's when I started looking for tequila.
Yeah.
We were looking for the tequila, and then eventually, casual message from Sheldon on the group. I've got your tequila. He says, what do you mean you got tequila? Yes, I've got it. He says, well, can you bring it? He says, I'll meet you halfway. He was already in bed. So he was not prepared to walk across the quad to come and give it to us. He says, I'll walk halfway. So Philip went to meet him halfway. It was like a meeting at the border to exchange prisoners. Okay, here we go.
Oh my word, Joe is obsessed with tequila. So that made whoever carrying the tequila the bearer of his drink. So I was tasked one night with carrying this tequila around for him from the banks at Felix United to one of the campsites that we were going to. And the next 2 days, I think Joe was just struggling to find where he put the tequila, which was in my backpack somehow. But yes, then we found it again, and it swiftly got drunk. So yeah, that's the tequila story.